Hello, it's Angela, and welcome back to my channel, Literature Science Alliance. And today I am going to just do a gushing, raving review on The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. If you are new here, I just want you to know I love N.K. Jemisin, all of her books, always. If you are not new here, this is no surprise, so strap in and just let me tell you why you need to be picking this book up as soon as possible. So, I'm going to put it down because it's heavy and we all know what we're here to talk about. So, The City We Became. What is it about? It's about New York City, basically being born, and as part of being born, it kind of takes a bunch of people and makes them its avatars. So, every borough of New York, and there are 5 of them, kind of gets one person to represent them, and then there's one avatar for the entirety of New York City. And they had an interesting birth, and there's some problems with some monsters from another world who don't want this to happen, and they have to all band together and assemble and, I don't know, figure it all out. Like, they're as confused as we are when we read this book. And it is so much fun. It's such a fun ride. I cannot say that enough. So, what do I love about it? Basically everything, but this world? I've never had such a unique urban fantasy experience. Normally, when we talk urban fantasy, we think vampires, werewolves, things like that, more maybe supernatural or paranormal fantasy. This is urban fantasy because it's in our world, but it is nothing like anything I have ever read before, and I just had such a fun time with it. The idea that when these avatars have to use magic, they have to kind of use what is called a construct, and that's the idea that they really have to go into the meaning of what it means to be their borough or to be a part of New York City, to be able to fight this invader, this thing that does not belong. And that's really cool. I am not someone who's from New York City. I am from, well, not everyone says Cleveland's a city, but I grew up near what I call a city, and now I live in Boston. So I like cities a lot. I love the cultures, the blending. They are really fun places to be. And I've always loved New York City from afar, and I loved how much I got to be here. I got to learn about it. And I feel like a really authentic way. This world is so cool. Okay? So, the world. And the characters. So I think the thing I love most about Jemisin's writing is her character work. When I think about it, because most of the time, I'm not loving her books because of the plot. I mean, the plot's usually good. But I'm usually loving it because I love all the people and I am super invested. We are following these characters not only as representatives of their borough, so they represent what it means to be Queens or the Bronx or Brooklyn. They not only represent that, but they are usually their own individuals as well. And I feel like that could be a really interesting line to kind of flirt with. And I think it's done so well. And also we have to deal with them being like, why did I wake up today as part of a city? That's not what I signed up for. And I just love all the characters. I couldn't think of a favorite character. I really liked whoever I was with. Even when I was with maybe the more misunderstood or villain-like characters, I was so there. It was so much fun. And I really felt like they all had depth. None of them were super shallow. It wasn't a cookie cutter villain. It was really good. I don't know how to explain it other than I love these characters. I didn't even bring this up. The diversity in this cast is amazing. I think there is one, not including the villain whose race is ambiguous. There's one white woman who is a descendant of Irish immigrants, and the rest are all people of color. And it is wonderful and really nice to have like this really diverse cast, because New York City is a diverse city, and we don't see that in a lot of sitcoms that are done about that city, such as Friends and How I Met Your Mother. And although I like both of those, I just don't know how all those series can happen. And if you walk down New York streets for like a minute, you are hearing at least 3 languages. So it's just not very representative of the city, at least in my tiny little snippet of it that I've experienced in my life. Writing style. I love N.K. Jemisin's writing style. I will not be complaining about that here. It was wonderful. And I also feel if you've been deterred from reading her other works, because, the 5th season has second person in there, and I know that freaks people out, this is probably her most accessible narrative structure from her novels that I've seen. It is really plot driven for once, which is weird because most of the time I don't know, it's usually this character driven, really, I don't know how to describe what N.K. Jemisin does most of the time, but this one is pretty plot driven, so I feel like it's potentially a good introduction if for some reason you just have not picked up the Broken Earth trilogy for whatever reason yet, although you for sure should because it's wonderful. And I am just so high energy in this video, and I hope that's not bad. I just love this book. If that's just not clear, I don't know what else to do. Oh, I haven't even gotten to the themes. The themes of belonging. So New York City, she does a great job again in her diversity of characters of not just picking people to be avatars who were born in the city. One of the avatars had just entered the city that day. And it's this idea that you get to be a New Yorker regardless of the length of time you've been there, whether you were born and raised, whether you just moved there, whether you've only been there for 4 years. One of the characters isn't even a citizen of the United States. Like, that's how much I love the diversity in this book. And this idea of belonging, the idea of community, what does it mean to be a part of these communities, and how this outside force kind of messes with that. Like, you know, chain stores are not as part of the community as, you know, little bodegas and things like that. It's so wonderful. And I also just felt like it did have good themes of teamwork, because, I mean, although all these boroughs and avatars are part of New York City, like any place in the world, that doesn't mean everyone sees eye to eye and is keen on working together. And so you really do, it's not just that everyone's like, oh, we need to work together, save the day. Like, there really is tension there. There really is a lot of clashing of personalities. And I just think it's all done really well and in such a cool way. And the last thing I will leave you with is I'm a horrible fantasy reader. I'm not big on maps. I don't know why, I'm just not good at it. But this map is one of my favorite maps, and it's really fun to reference after the fact because a lot of scenes that happen in the book, they make no sense when you look at this map for the first time, but later on you're like, oh, I remember what took place there, and this book is one of my favorite things I've read this year, if that's not clear. I think it's gorgeous. I think it's contained, so yes, it's part of a trilogy, but the ending was really nice. It was really nice and wrapped up. And I don't know if any of this review will make any sense because I am just a gushing blob. It's much easier for me to be coherent about things that I don't like, apparently. But if I have not convinced you to pick this book up, I don't know what will. It's wonderful. You really should, especially if you just want, I don't know, a hopeful book. I think it really is a good, positive read, and it's a fun time. Like, if you just want a fun time, that's not... Like, it's not just junk food, though. There's so much good stuff there. It's like she tricks you into eating your veggies, but, like, because she put a bunch of cheese on it. I don't know if that's a good analogy, because cheese is still kind of good for you. I just really like it. Please pick it up. Please read it so I can talk to you about it, because I really like it. Also, I said I don't have a favorite character, but I'm pretty sure I love Bronca the most. Bronca's great. Bronca's a 70-year-old Native American. We have a 70-year-old character. Ugh. This book is amazing. Anyways, that's it for this one. Comment if you've read it or want to read it. Give me a nice thumbs up if you liked it and want to make me smile. And otherwise, I will see you in the next one, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.